Today we're going to talk about something a little bit unusual that maybe you don't hear much about, but we want to find out about the reality of being an entrepreneur, the actual truth of being a successful entrepreneur, and dig into that a little bit. So really happy to have Liam here to share these hidden nuggets.
Let me just start. Don't do it. I'm joking. I love being an entrepreneur. You know, I love business. I love property. I love entrepreneurship. It's, I do get it that entrepreneurship is perhaps not for everyone. However, I do believe that if you've got a drive, if you've got an idea, if you want to go and serve, if you're sick and tired of being in a job that's not serving you, I do believe that with the right support network, investing in yourself and getting around great people, turning your passion into profit, certainly in today's marketplace, I believe that the world of entrepreneurship is available to anyone. But you've got to be in it to win it, and you've got to want to go through the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. I made a decision many years ago, consciously or subconsciously, that I wanted to become a multi-millionaire.
How old were you then?
One of my first ever memories was living with my mum, who was a single parent, and there was my young brother, Austin. He was 2 and I was 8. And we were living in a women's refuge, and that's a whole different story. And I remember it was a really cold evening. It was raining outside, and there's me and my mum in this room. There's no heating. We're freezing cold, and we are huddled up with this brown itchy blanket around us. And I remember it itching my neck, and we were sharing from a cold tin of spaghetti bolognese.
Wow, yeah.
And I was like, this is not what I want for my life. It's not what I want for my family's life. So from a very young age, I associated having money with having happiness.
Okay, yeah, from about 8.
From about 8.
Yeah,
from that type of age. And what happened is I became the kid at school that could get you whatever you wanted. So my mum introduced me to a friend of hers called Tim. He was a market trader. And I used to go into school with 2 bags. I used to go with my school bag, and I wasn't that interested in that. And then I'd have the big bag with the jeans and the perfumes and the cigarettes and pretty much anything you wanted. And I really liked that identity. And I would buy something off Tim for £10 and go and sell it for £30. And this bit in the middle was called profit. And it was like, oh my goodness, this is like a really good feeling.
What age were you when you were doing that?
I was 11 so that was year 7, maybe going into year 8.
Okay.
So yeah. 11/12 in primary school. But even before then in primary school, I used to go and sell puff crisps. I don't know if you remember those. They were 10p.
Yeah.
They were called puff crisps, and I used to go and buy them from the local shop, and then I'd resell them on.
Oh, that's funny. I used to make popcorn and sherbet and sell it in the playground.
Really?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
So puff crisps. I used to be fixated with like trolls and He-Man figures, I used to go and sell that type of stuff. So I was always, selling stuff from a real young age. But certainly when I went into secondary school, I just became that kid that could get you whatever you wanted. And it was really nice because I was like giving money to my mum. I had money to go and buy like nice trainers. I always wanted to be like one of the cool kids because I grew up with nothing and grew up on rough council estates. Yeah. And I had this drive and desire in me that nothing was ever going to stop me until I made it to whatever I thought I would make it to.
So your motivation, you knew money it could provide things, and that was going to be a vehicle. But did you realise at that age that you could see that money would provide options, and it wasn't just money, that money was a vehicle?
Yeah, I saw that it was definitely a vehicle to have a happier life.
Yeah.
And one of my driving forces was I wanted to get my mum off the council estate.
Okay,
I wanted us to go and live on a normal estate. And that was a big driver for me. So, as I went through school, I then became a door knocker for Zenith Windows at the age of 15. I used to knock on doors 6 days a week, after school for 4 or 5 hours, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, commission only. And that was incredible because I got rejection after rejection after rejection. And I learned very quickly how to build desire, how to keep someone's interest. So all of these things that I was doing at a young age were teaching me sales skills, marketing skills, persuasion skills, because I do believe that sales is one of the most important skill sets that we need to master as entrepreneurs, as business owners, because once you know how to sell something, you can sell anything to anyone. As long as the thing you're selling is good, then you should never be afraid of selling. So that was where it all started, really. Yeah,
and sales has got can have a negative connotation, can't it? And people have a negative opinion of selling, but it's actually a positive thing to help people.
My English teacher at secondary school, when she heard I was door knocking for Zenith Windows, as a 15-year-old in year 11, I'm making like £500-600 a week. I'm earning more money than the teacher.
Wow!
And my English teacher was like, it's not going to amount to anything. Don't be so stupid.
Really?
Sales is no good. Don't be a salesperson. And, sales is one of the best skills in the world.
Wow. Yeah.
And even my mum, when I said to my mum I had a commission-only job, she tried to talk me out of it. And it's not their fault. They just programmed to go get a job.
Yeah.
It's what the system tells you to do, the 40-40-40 plan. Go and work for 40 hours a week for 40 years and retire on 40% of your pension.
Yeah.
Now, that might have worked in the 70s or 80s, but it ain't working today.
It's not, no.
And people's mindsets are still in the old way rather than the new way.
Yeah.
So, that, I suppose, was the start of my entrepreneurial journey. And then I went and worked for some people, insurance companies, and then I made it over to Spain when I was 20. And within 2 years of going to Spain, I made my first £1 million, set up my own company, and it was like turning on a tap. But there's been lots of ups and downs since then, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think the main skills were? You said about rejection, because that's a big one. A lot of people they have a fear of rejection, and you just have to have a thick skin, don't you, and just carry on.
Yeah, I think what's important is I always say, go for 50 no's.
Go for 50
Go
no's.
for 50 no's.
Okay.
And if you go for 50 no's, whatever you're selling, and you have the right conversations with the right people, by the time you get to no number 50, I'm almost guarantee you've got a deal. Now, that might be an investor for a property deal. That might be a client to buy your product or service. That might be a landlord to do a property deal with. But whatever you're selling, go for 50 no's. And every time you get a no, try and understand what you could have done better.
Okay.
Because as long as you've got a great product, it's not that your product is bad. It's just that you don't know how to communicate it, or you don't know how to overcome an objection, or you don't know how to build desire. And once someone knows you, likes you, and trusts you, they will want to do business with you. And what people do is they get the first no and they see that as complete rejection, doesn't make them feel good. They go in their hole, nothing ever changes. A no is just a process that we have to go through to get a yes. And sometimes you might get 6 or 7 no's from somebody before you get a yes.
Right,
so don't even give up on the first no. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And no's do turn into yeses.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is by what's called the follow-up. The magic is in the follow-up. Just make sure you've got a plan to keep building relationships with people.
Brilliant. Okay, so don't be afraid of the no's.
Yeah, embrace them.
Yeah, use the no's like a stepping stone to get to the yeses.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
That's brilliant. All right. So what other things can you share with us, that you might not want people to hear, sort of struggles, things that you really have to work at?
Like as an entrepreneur, it's like never quite satisfied. Me anyway.
Yeah.
Like they call me the deal maker because I'm chasing that next deal, and I get the deal, and yes, I do celebrate, but it's like that feeling, that buzz just leaves me really quickly. And it's like, well, what's next? What's the next level? So I think a lot of entrepreneurs can get in that trap that more is better. And not necessarily more is better. You've got to really enjoy the journey. And sometimes I don't enjoy the journey as well as I could, or I don't spend time reflecting on all the micro wins or the big wins. And it's like I'm just chasing for that next thing. And that can leave me feeling quite unsatisfied sometimes.
Yeah. So do you think you find it hard to be present and actually enjoy that moment?
Yeah, that
you're always looking for the next thing.
Always looking for the next thing, which has its upsides, but it also has its downsides. And I have to constantly work at that. And you know, if you're never quite satisfied, it's like there can be like a little hole in my soul, so to speak. Where life's brilliant, but I don't allow myself to feel that or go through that because I'm always chasing the next thing. You know, I used to be a drug addict and alcoholic, so business for me is like a drug. I'm chasing that next high.
Okay, so what do you do to try and become a bit more present, and do you have any techniques?
Yeah, I do, because I'm definitely getting better at it. Exercise, and I know you're huge into fitness and health, and exercise for me is a great way to start almost most of my days, and it really just allows me to be present. It's a form of meditation for me. It's having some quiet time with myself, or I'm typically with my trainer, but it's like those 60 minutes are like really precious, and it just sets me up for the day, and it does allow me to be present. So that's really important. I don't always do this, but when I do it, it works well, and that's getting into some type of meditation.
Yeah, that's so powerful.
I've actually got, you'll love this, I've actually got a sound bath with my wife tonight. Yeah.
Have you?
Yes. So my wife Holly has recently got into sound baths.
Oh, brilliant.
She's in this group of friends, and they're all into these sound baths, and obviously Yasmin, who you introduced me to, she does these things. So yeah, me and my wife tonight have got a sound bath. Just to try and be a bit more present. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Don't take your phone in.
Yeah, exactly. and that's the next thing. It's like, if I want to be present, I just can't have my bloody phone on me.
Yeah.
Because even if I'm trying to have a great time with my kids, and I love my kids and I love spending time with them, my brain can be on the business. My brain is on the team. My brain is on that investment I've just made. So for me, leaving my phone at home or giving it to my wife and just not having that around me, I would say is one of the best ways for me to disconnect.
Yeah.
And even if I don't have my, maybe people can relate to this, if I don't have my phone on me for 10 minutes, it's like that needing that nicotine hit.
Yeah.
It's like a drug.
It is a drug. It's dopamine.
Yeah.
We're all addicted to dopamine, aren't we, from our phones and devices? And well, I was really pleased you're doing a sound bath. You always surprise me with things you come out with. That's brilliant. Well, I'll find out how that goes.
7:30 tonight,
Oh, wow. Well, I think we got some insider knowledge there from somebody that's really successful, but also may have a few struggles like we all have. We're all human, so that's really great to hear from Liam there. So if you like this episode, please leave a comment, like and share, and we'll see you on the next episode.
So if you are somebody that really wants to create more wealth for you and your future, then why don't you look at becoming a professional property investor, where you can take advantage of the UK's #1 asset class and make passive income and also capital appreciation. So I'd invite you now to click the link in the comments or the bio and go and access my latest book called Property Success. This is where I introduce you to the 7-step-by-step system known as the Property Freedom Formula that I have used personally to do over £31 million worth of property development. So go and do that right now. I really hope you enjoy this asset, and it could be the difference that makes the difference and gets you up and running in the next 90 days.